fuck's going on here?
Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Sky's the limit, baby.
BoxingVoice.com.
We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone.
En este deporte no se viene a jugar y no le tengo miedo a nadie.
We don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
Does that mean that you will fight Triple G later this year?
Como lo dije en la pelea pasada, ahorita mismo me vuelvo a poner los guantes.
As I said in the last fight, right now I'll put on the gloves again.
¡Viva México!
Canelo wants to unify all the titles.
When did you realize, Andy, that you could take his power?
Because of the Mexican warrior that I am, I got that Mexican blood in me, so talking about the Mexican style, I just proved it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing boys.
Good morning, TBV. Good morning to all my boxing fans out there in the world. We are back. It is Monday morning, 9 a.m., and TBV is back with another one. We've been getting reports that Sky Sports box office pay-per-view buys are down in the last two Matchroom events, and there is an excessive amount of pay-per-views that have happened in 2019 and are going to take place in 2019. The Sky Sports Matchroom pay-per-view roster is loaded, and we're here to discuss how those UK fight fans feel about this, discuss AJ's pay-per-view numbers, Dillian White's pay-per-view numbers, Joseph Parker, that guy they call pound for pound, Vasyl Lomachenko's pay-per-view numbers, and others. We have a long list. Facts are in. There is a steady decline according to broadcasters' audience research. So we will be discussing the numbers, and is pay-per-view dead in the UK, since Eddie Hearn indicated or tried to insinuate that it was dead in the US. So if you're interested, if you want to give us your opinion on this very topic, you already know the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget to add Nestor Gibbs on Skype to be part of the conversation.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! I'm ready!
DBLC Production.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it.
BoxingVoice.com.
So when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak. Oh my Mike. He stayed out before he said he was not.
A man stand up for what he believes in, and when you stand up for what you believe in, you accept whatever consequences come behind it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Yo. Good morning to everybody out there in the TBV universe. Back with another one. Yeah, man. Matchroom, Sky Sports pay-per-views could be struggling. Yeah, the last two were kind of, not too great. But the AJ and Ruiz one's not that bad, but it's not the of the level of a normal Anthony Joshua pay-per-view. But we'll break that down and bring it to you. What's going on, Ness?
What up, champ? No, man, look, I'm glad that you finished your little intro with that specific line at the end. It's not of the level of normal AJ pay-per-views. This guy's known to do 1.5. I mean, he's been up there. So 500,000 is a huge decline. And then, even Dillian White's, I mean, the numbers are in, and listen, we're talking about Kovalev-Lemieux numbers here. We're talking really low for Lomachenko. And, White, at least, if this was America, which it's not because this is $25 versus the $79.95 for HD that we had to pay for Earl Spence versus Porter. So ours is 3 times the amount of theirs. So this is 1/4 of our pay-per-view. That being said, if this 289,000 buys translated into $75 per pay-per-view in the United States, Dillian White would be doing okay. Most executives are on record saying 250,000 buys is okay. So, 49 extra thousand, I guess, would be a success. But in the UK, this is a decline for Dillian White, coming in at 289,000. What are your thoughts on that particular number, especially when it was with the Rivas fight, an undefeated fighter coming off a big knockout win to Brian Jennings? There was some perceived danger there for Dillian White. Why do you think the numbers were so low?
Honestly, he was coming off a rematch with Derek Chisora that did like 438,000, which I thought would probably do a little bit more, but that's still not a bad number. And I think it's the reason Dillian White was out most of the year. He didn't fight till June. He was fighting a guy in Oscar Rivas that the British public didn't necessarily know. And I know we say the British public, you know what I'm saying, they gobble everything up, but from what I'm looking at, like, they ain't really buying no bullshit. Vasily Lomachenko and Luke Campbell, 205,000 for a pound for pound, great for the best boxer in the world. For the Matrix, you know what I'm saying? No Moschenko, all that shit. 205,000 versus Luke Campbell, a British gold medalist, a darling, you know what I'm saying? A reality star, all that kind of shit over England to do only 205,000.
At $25, no less.
Or it could have been $19.99. I think AJ is $25. Like everybody else normally like $19.99, but.
Because you know what? Just for context, the YouTubers are gonna be on pay-per-view on Sky too, so they really killing the UK. Even though we're paying for it too, if we don't have DAZN, right? But they're coming in at 9.95 euros or pounds, so whatever that translates to.
And one thing that I do want to bring up about Vasil and Luke, the only reason they could get Vasil over there and like do the deal with Top Rank was by putting it at the O2 and selling out, which they did, and by putting it on pay-per-view. And I guess the 205,000 kind of gave them a cushion or a little extra money to pay Lomachenko and Luke Campbell. That's the reason why a lot of these fights are going into pay-per-view. The stars are just getting bigger and bigger, and they demand a bigger paycheck. And sometimes you just can't afford the regular Sky fee, and it has to be pay-per-view.
Yeah, man. I don't know. So the big shocker to me was Andy Ruiz and AJ. When I read that, I'm like, wow, that's a big decline. That's almost 900,000 people that didn't tune in to what now is going down as like the top 5 biggest upsets in the last 40 years. So obviously that is retrospect, and the people that night didn't tune in thinking it was going to be an easy fight for AJ. But is 900,000 a big knockoff because it was a late-minute replacement, or do you as a hardcore and you can think or believe that some casuals will sympathize with you and AJ and say, it was short notice, so this 900,000 drop-off isn't a big deal, and, he shouldn't be, I guess, held accountable for this? It's not his fault. It's not his fault Big Baby tested positive.
I mean, let's think about it. Before the fight started, we are here on TBV. I didn't give Andy a chance. I don't think you did. And if we didn't give Andy a chance, and we are the voice of the people, you got to thank the casual fan scene. And no disrespect to Andy, a chubby Mexican guy coming to the Madison Square Garden about to fight AJ. You know what? I'm not buying this shit. I'll catch it in the morning. And when they got up, they seen what happened. So I just think that is a direct a reflection of a late-minute replacement and them not thinking much of Andy. Because if you look at the Povetkin did 1.1. I don't really see Povetkin as being a killer, you know what I'm saying? But he still did 1.1. So at the end of the day, I think it's safe to expect Andy and Joshua to do big numbers in the rematch. I think the 562,000 is the floor for what they can do in the rematch.
So I see a lot of comments saying, you're an idiot. It's 4 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Rob just texted, hey, man, it's 4 in the morning, man.
Did Rob text you again? Rob, just come on the panel, man.
Hey,
Stop
man,
it.
I be trying to tell Rob, come on back, man.
He's
Pride,
part of the
man,
show
pride.
in spirit. He's part of the show in spirit. So this is UK pay-per-views, right? And this is 4 in the morning. And we're gonna go back. Muhammad Ali versus Henry Cooper II. Only 40,000. I never even heard of Henry Cooper. Frank Bruno, he was AJ before AJ versus Mike Tyson, the second fight. 600,000, so that did a little better than AJ at 4 in the morning. Naseem Hamed versus...
Hold on. Come on, man.
Excuse me, what happened?
Mike Tyson, back in 94 or 93?
96.
Oh, okay. Fresh out of jail. Fresh out of jail. You think them British, man? Come on, man. They
stood up, man. All I'm saying is they stood up. Stood up.
But it's Iron Mike though, bro. Like sometimes, like it's cheating by using these guys' names. Like we know
I'm just
Iron Mike.
giving you a list of pay-per-views I could find. I'm sorry I couldn't find less known people to be on pay-per-view. It really doesn't happen that way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand. Only thing I'm saying is Mike has so much nostalgia and so much just people wanted to see Mike.
This helps AJ. If people wanted to see Mike, why is it only 40,000 more than AJ versus Ruiz? This helps AJ, Mike. This is not an indictment against AJ. If Mike Tyson, the legend, the nostalgic dude, fresh out of jail, everybody dying to see him after the rape charges, he only did 40,000 more than AJ. That means AJ is a global superstar. That's what that means. He's right on par with someone that is an icon in the sport. There's nothing wrong with this information. This is helping the UK. They just need to open their mind. Again, this is helping the UK. Naseem Hamed, another UK legend versus Tom Johnson, someone I don't know. But the UK stood up till 4 in the morning for 650,000 pay-per-view buys. In June 28th, 1997, the legend, first Battle Hall of Famer, that is, Evander Holyfield, took on Mike Tyson for the second time. And they only did 550 buys. And that means AJ did better than 2 all-time greats. I'm giving perspective. Sometimes people listen to the title, read the title, and they're like, these guys are haters. Listen to the show. I'm giving you perspective. March 1999, Evander Holyfield versus Lennox Lewis, the legend, the AJ criticizer. 400,000. That means AJ and Ruiz did better than that fight.
Holyfield and Lennox Lewis did 400,000. That's it.
At 4 in the morning.
All right.
January 2000, the 29th, Mike Tyson's back versus Julius Francis, 500,000. AJ did better than that. June 2002, the 8th, Lennox Lewis, the Darling, is back versus Mike Tyson, 750,000. Okay, AJ didn't do better than that, but that's okay. Because I'm sure AJ gets somewhere he done better than that. The 8th of December, 2007, Floyd Mayweather and Ricky Hatton fought, and the UK stood up. And that's okay. He did triple the amount of AJ, but that's fine. He did 1.1.
But hey, let me ask you something quick on this. I know you're going off on a tangent. Now, if social media and things like that was available back then, just
would be
a
bigger.
perspective. Thank you. That's all I want to ask. Okay, thank you.
But that's not these fighters' fault. It's not Mike Tyson's fault he couldn't have an Instagram or Twitter back in the day, and there wasn't anything bigger than MySpace back in the day. But that's just the way it is. Malcolm X, right? I'm sure he wished there was a bunch of shit he could have had from this generation. He probably still been around, but it ain't work out that way. That being said, Hatton and Mayweather did 1.15, right? Then we got Amir Khan versus fucking Andres Kotelnik. Boy, Kotelnik gave Devin Alexander all the smoke. Yeah, you got to be a fan to know who that is. But guess what? Only 100,000. only 100,000 people. So he right there with Crawford and shit.
Amir can't get no pay-per-view with nobody, no matter who he fought.
Only
besides
Canelo. Only Canelo. November 7th, 2009, Nikolai Valuev versus David Haye for the heavyweight title, WBO, I believe, 469,000, and that's a unified, undisputed cruiserweight champ moving up to heavyweight, daring to be great, and he only could do 469,000. AJ did better than that. David Haye versus John Ruiz, 177,000. Mikhail Kessler versus Froch, 50,000. That's on the level of B-Hop and Roy Jones. Yo, Kell Brook, he's the biggest star over there. Kell Brook versus Michael Jennings, 15,000. 15,000. I'm not missing a zero. November 2010, David Haye is back versus the gold medalist Audley Harrison, 223,000. Marcos Maidana versus Amir King Khan, only 164,000. Amir Khan versus Paul McCloskey, the threat. Huh? 200,000. Yo, at least Amir's starting to go up.
That was his name?
Paul
The
McCloskey.
threat?
Nah, I threw the threat in there. But he was a dude. I believe he beat up maybe Chop Corley and
Coming opponent with Floyd Mayweather.
And thought he deserved the Khan fight, but he got it. He talked himself into it. And look, they did numbers because Khan slowly started going up from 100 to 164. After his valiant effort with Marcos Maidana, that garnered him an extra 40-something thousand damn near. Then we got George Groves versus James DeGale, the very early match. Right? The very early match. That was 2011. And that was only 43,000. Vladimir Klitschko versus David Haye, 1.143. Oh, wow.
That's where David got that money from. Okay, I wondered, I thought David was like a big star over there balling and shit.
He talked that fight up, too, man. He talked that fight up. He was wearing decapitated Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly Klitschko shirts. He was showing up like Brand. He showed Shannon Briggs how to do Shannon Briggs. He was doing that. But he was more violent, though. Shannon Briggs on some Let's Go Champ. This dude
it was like David Haye was like I don't want to say a thug or a gangster, but he was about that shit.
Bro, he was the gangster that reminded me of Chico DeBarge, though, right? Like, don't he remind you of one of them, right? Like,
one of them R&B singing type niggas.
Yeah, one of them R&B dudes. But, and another thing is, it's 2020, and my man still looks good with braids. I can't even front. He still look good with. Sometimes you be walking up to your boy and like, damn, nigga, 20 years, cut that shit already. But he's still
no receding hairline, no braids in the middle of your head, none of that shit.
Then he got that good shit. He got that good shit. You know his mom was putting that pink moisturizer all throughout grade school, man. That nigga shit real extra soft and curly, right? He let them braids out. He got the little extra fro. It look good though. We gonna keep it moving. We got. We stopped at Vladimir Klitschko, David Haye, 1.143. We got Carl Froch, Mikhail Kessler, the second fight. Damn, that's crazy. Only 32,000. Yo, we wanted that fight. That's crazy. That's crazy. Carl Froch versus George Groves in front of 80,000 only did 47,000?
No. First fight was at the O2. Second fight was in front of 80,000.
Oh, the first fight only did 47,000. Carl Froch versus George Groves. The second, there goes the jump. They seen the hype, and they like, yo, we want to tune in 355,000. That's nice for Froch. Shout out to Froch. That's some take-home money right there. Kell Brook, the superstar, the pay-per-view giant back, and he fought Frankie Gavin on pay-per-view. He did 139,000. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, wow, only did 876,000. So that's interesting to note that versus Ricky, who had less of a shot, the UK public stood up and more people bought it. Versus
what you got your? I got Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao doing $1 million on Sky.
I have 876,000 according to the article.
Okay.
November 28th, 2015, Vladimir Klitschko versus Tyson Fury. That only did 545,000, but that's right there with Andy Ruiz and AJ. Then we got December 12th, 2015, Anthony Joshua versus Dillian White, the body snatcher. 420,000. Those are decent numbers. If that's America at 75, them dudes is caking. That back end check looking nice.
You gotta remember that's when both guys were prospects. Like both guys.
Yeah, they wasn't even champions yet. So that's very impressive numbers. You know, I'm only giving credit. Carl Frampton versus Scott Quigg. This is unbelievable. 304,000. That's a big number for them. 200. Those were 122 pounders. You know, Quigg wasn't like. I guess probably at the time he could have maybe been undefeated. I can't remember, but I remember the fight very vividly. I just don't think that anybody thought Quigg was going to beat him like that. Like, I'm not saying he was a lopsided underdog, but this is impressive for Carl. Shout out to Carl. Anthony Joshua, Charles Martin. This is his first title shot on pay-per-view, 500,000. It's decent. First time you're going for a belt. People don't even know you're a champ yet. There's no cachet. That's amazing numbers. If that's the U.S., this dude's happy. But this is $25. I think it still works out good for them over there. I'm not sure. Anthony Joshua versus Dominic Brazil. 12,000 more people tuned in, coming in at 512,000. Gennady Golovkin in the pay-per-view Slayer. Kell Brook, 500,000. Anthony Joshua back versus Eric Molina, common opponent with Deontay Wilder, 450,000. Not bad again. If that's America, not bad. David Haye versus Tony Bellew, 890,000. Now that's something to put into perspective.
Snuck another one out, but David Haye out here getting that bread.
That's something to put into perspective. Two heavyweights, not on the level of Anthony Joshua. None of the hardware of Anthony Joshua, contested at the division of Anthony Joshua and even Deontay Wilder, but we're talking UK pay-per-views only, and he almost doubled. That's very impressive for David Haye and Tony Bellew. Anthony
they had
Joshua,
that UK beef.
Yeah, and that's what, again, that just goes to show that Ness is right with the blueprint. Get in the ring, cause some ruckus, make some noise, and you will sell pay-per-views.
Exactly what Tony Bellew did after that fucking BJ Flores fight. He went ape shit on David Haye. And I think that really made the people in England support it.
Yo, that sounds like WWE. Oh, too bad boxing's too much like WWE. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko, 1.532. That's crazy. 1,532,000 buys. Super duper, extremely impressive. If that was American pay-per-views, he'd be up there with Miguel Cotto and Miguel Cotto and Floyd Mayweather. And he'd be having
Canelito.
He would be having I don't know. Did Canelo ever do 1.5?
I thought he did it with Floyd.
No, he broke it with Floyd. He did 2.4 with Floyd.
All right, well, that's even better.
No, that's better. That's better. But does he have a 1.5 without a guy named Floyd?
I got a million with a guy named Chavez Jr.
Okay, one like 1.2, and with Gennady like 1.1. 1.5 is only Floyd and Canelo, and maybe one other dude I can't remember off the top, but y'all can help us in the chat. We going now again to the pay-per-view fucking serial killer, Kell Brook versus Earl Spence Jr. 275,000 for Kell Brook to defend his title versus the American crossing the pond. We got Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Conor McGregor, only doing 874,000 pay-per-view buys. That's very strange compared to the fact that Floyd did like 4 or 5 million in America. This is still very good, but strangely low, I guess. I feel like more people thought McGregor had a better shot than Ricky, but Ricky got 1.5 to tune in. Anthony Joshua, Carlos Takam, super duper impressive late minute replacement, 887,000 pay-per-view buys.
Impressive.
Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker, unification, 1,457,000 pay-per-view buys. David Haye, Tony Bellew, the rematch, 775,000 pay-per-view buys. That dude David Haye is sitting on old money. He got money he ain't spent since '88. Dillian White versus. Sorry, go.
No, I was gonna say, and you see why people like Derek
Chisora signed up with him.
Yeah, exactly. You see, like, damn, bro, you got 890,000 fighting Tony Bellew and another 775,000 for the rematch. Yeah, let me talk to you right quick, David.
Dillian White versus Joseph Parker, 474,000. Something to put into perspective. When AJ fought Joseph Parker, he did 1,457,000. So, real close to almost a million and some change dropping off from Joseph Parker's loss to AJ and Dillian White's loss to AJ. But again, had these men fought on pay-per-view, I don't know that they would have gotten those numbers, but those numbers would have been impressive if they would have been able to get them on pay-per-view in America, Mike. I mean, imagine Dillian White and Joseph Parker in America doing 474,000. That would have been like, whoa. So, according to the article, these figures were taken from various media reports and sources, plus the broadcaster's audience research board. So, what this does prove is that the drop-off in AJ pay-per-views is there. He hasn't done the 500,000 since the Charles Martin. The drop-off for Dillian White is there. And the drop-off for Matchroom pay-per-views as a whole is there. Now, I say Matchroom, but we all know they're not a broadcaster. The broadcaster is Sky Sports. So, is this just an indication that Matchroom Boxing is headed towards DAZN? And that's why you see a drop in these numbers, because their good fights are going to DAZN, and this isn't DAZN? Or does that not make sense? Because don't they normally still get some of DAZN's shows, but they get them as pay-per-views? Which does make sense, because then that's probably why they're not tuning in. They're like, these Americans are getting this for 10. We have to pay 20. I don't know. I'm just throwing out some sort of opinions.
Yeah. Here. I don't know if the UK pay-per-view model is bad or suffering. I know this year hasn't been a good year, but you can go back to September of 2018 and see Joshua do comfortably over 1 million. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think that the rematch with Joshua and Ruiz does way bigger numbers. And I don't know how far Dubai is from the UK, but I'm sure it's closer than America. So that might help out with the Joshua and Ruiz numbers too, by being at a suitable time. The first fight was at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning, so that they couldn't really cash in how they cashed in for the Parker or Vladimir fight, because that fight was over there on that coast. So with that being said, I do think that the numbers from Joshua and Ruiz will be better this year, and I think that Joshua will probably do comfortably over 1 million, maybe even pushing the 2 million mark. I just like do or die for Joshua.
So even though we see this decline, even though people are reporting on this decline, and numbers haven't been this low since Brooke versus Gavin, that was a disaster, only selling 139,000 buys. Campbell versus the quote-unquote pound for pound in the world in Lomachenko only did 205 buys. That hasn't deterred good old Eddie Hearn. October is still going to be the World Boxing Super Series. The team's up with Matchroom. And they're going to put Josh Taylor versus Regis Prograis and Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker. And that's going to be Sky Sports box office as well. So Eddie just doesn't stop giving the UK pay-per-views. Meanwhile, he's in the media saying that American pay-per-view is dead. His numbers are declining and he's oversaturating. Then just a week later, November 2nd, Canelo Alvarez versus Sergey Kovalev is also going to be Sky Sports pay-per-view. So, even KSI on November 9th with Paul Logan is also Sky Sports pay-per-view. So it's looking like a lot of pay-per-views. Then don't forget Deontay Wilder, November 23rd. That's also pay-per-view on Sky. Then you got, I don't know if Sky's going to pick that up, right? Because they don't fuck with Wilder. No, wait. Didn't they pick up this last fight with Dominic Brazil?
They just picked up Porter and them, so they might pick it up. I think they did pick up the
I believe they picked up Dominic. Google that while I give more facts. Another UK in 6 weeks, obviously, is the Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. So that's another UK pay-per-view for them. I think that's around maybe, I don't know, 2 every 2 months for them. So, wow. I don't know. Do you know, is there going to be interest from the KSI UK fans to watch the Logan Paul 2 on pay-per-view? The way that interest will be there for US Dazn subscribers. I feel like, Logan Paul has a pretty big US fan base, and because KSI can't sell Dazn subscriptions. He's in the UK.
Yeah. And
but again, that doesn't mean that his fan base isn't global. He's on YouTube where he's established his brand. I found him. I'm in the US. Doesn't mean that his fan base isn't global. Doesn't mean that he's not gonna have Americans coming to buy tickets and or paying for DAZN.
And the water fight was on fucking Sky Sports.
So expect that to also be pay-per-view. Now, what could you think on our U.S. schedule that's worthy enough for pay-per-view this year that's also going to get thrown in that bucket? Like when Crawford fights, is that going to be pay-per-view? Was his last fight pay-per-view since it was Amir Khan, and Amir Khan has the relation with Matchroom? I mean, was that pay-per-view on Sky? Who else is big name that's going to fight or should be fighting? I mean, Mikey is saying, and that's something that I want to talk about on the next show, but Mikey's team is saying he'll be back this year. Would that be pay-per-view? I don't know. I've never, ever even inquired which Americans are, garnering pay-per-view. But do you see any fights on the schedule big enough for Sky Sports to pick it up?
You got to look at the Kovalev and Canelo
well, that's
fight.
already on Sky Sports.
It's on Sky Sports? Okay, officially?
Yeah.
Pay-per-view?
Yeah.
The only other one I could think is possibly Ortiz and Wilder. I know they don't want to.
No, that's already being picked up too.
Pay-per-view?
Yes. Deontay Wilder is expected to be back on Sky Sports on November 23rd.
Pay-per-view, though.
This despite fighting on pay-per-view in the United States. Yeah, man. This is
the
article, man. I sent you the article. You didn't read it?
Nah. Those are the only two.
Oh, so you don't see? All right, wait. Nah,
those only two.
Let me see. What's this? Who hasn't fought this year? Who's left? Who's old? Who's a big star owes us one fight?
Because if you think about it, like Earl and Porter won a pay-per-view.
It wasn't?
I don't see many.
I think you're wrong, champ. I could have sworn I watched an interview today. Google it. I could have sworn I watched an interview today from Boxing Social, Eddie talking, and yeah, it pretty much, they picked it up. I
was talking to Ams the other day, motherfucking Saturday, and I think he was watching it on Sky Sports. And like, y'all pay for it? Like, nah, it comes on Sky Sports.
Okay, I'm gonna Google it just to double check. Anybody in the chat saying that? I mean, they watched it on the UK. What's up?
I'll be getting a text issue soon. Yeah, man, it's not coming up to pay-per-view for me over there in the UK. I could have sworn it was free for them. Yep. Live on Sky Sports main event. Now Sky Sports both box office, so it's definitely free over in the UK.
So part of their subscription, that was good for them. So that's important to note. Then does that mean that the Wilder one would be just on Sky main event and not a pay-per-view? Because that's how we get it sometimes. Like AJ fights over there on pay-per-view and we get it free over here. Shout out to Shower Pumdum, says they got it for free.
And Wilder would not be pay-per-view.
And Wilder will not be pay-per-view? Well, I don't know. The way that it's written in this article, it indicates it is. It says 6 pay-per-views in 2019. That's the heading. That's bold. Then it says Deontay Wilder expected to be back on Sky Sports November 23rd. This despite fight being on pay-per-view in the United States. A third UK pay-per-view in just 6 weeks will take place on December 7th. So that's all in context. This is all what the article and author believe will be pay-per-view at the back end of Sky for 2019. Now, if that proves to be false in the future, maybe. I'm just going off the article. World Boxing News is our source. You want to close thoughts? Any final thoughts so we can go out to super chats and sponsors and callers?
I was just about to get to that super chat. You know what I'm saying? Final thoughts are just many people probably didn't realize who Ruiz was for the last pay-per-view for Joshua. And normally we see Joshua with Parker, with Povetkin, Klitschko, White, you know what I'm saying, do pretty good numbers even when he wasn't a belt holder. So I just think that it was in the U.S. late in the morning. Most UK people didn't want to get up for that fight. But we got a super chat coming from Alexander Wilson. Canelo Jacobs wasn't a Sky pay-per-view. It was a regular Sky show. Sky does not do pay-per-view for non-UK fighters unless they are Mayweather.
Well, I never said Canelo Jacobs. What I did say is Canelo Kovalev, which the article says, then just 1 week later on November, and I'm quoting, then just 1 week later on November 2nd, Canelo Alvarez versus Sergey Kovalev is currently being considered for pay-per-view. So, believe me, man, he's pay-per-view. He's a pay-per-view star. He's that dude, man. And on the list that we gave, was any of Canelo fights on there? Actually, they weren't. I didn't see any Canelo fights on there.
No, I know the Canelo and Gennady first fight was pay-per-view, wasn't it, or something like that?
I don't know, man. I wish I was in the UK. I don't know. They could tell us in the chat. But
I thought it was BT. I thought BT picked it up.
I don't know. You know, it's hard to keep track of what's pay-per-view over there.
Yeah. But yeah, my final thoughts are everybody who's listening right now, 418, go ahead and take a moment out and smash that thumbs up button. It helps with the visibility of the show. You want to go one step farther, head over to patreon.com/theboxforce where you can check us out today, later on for Untitled, where we sit back, unwind, and just give you all the lowdown of our weekend. It was BT Sports. Thank you, Iber. I feel like, yeah, it was BT Sports.
Mike, do you think that we've had a decline in numbers since AJ got beat?
I mean, I guess you could possibly say that, but at the same time, a lot of the UK fans went into hiding when AJ got beat, so I don't
see a decline in numbers. I feel like we have a decline in UK callers because, you know, you can't poke your chest out when the baddest man on the planet lost.
I mean, they've been coming back, and if he's victorious, I'm pretty sure that they'll still be like. I mean, you got to give it up
to. But the graph would indicate, if we had one, that there is a decline in UK callers.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why you got to give like credence to like guys like KO, guys like Rob, and guys like M, that they always around. You know what I'm saying? And they've been around. So all the other UK guys that normally called in talking all that shit, I don't hear none of them guys no more. What happened to Ralphie? Ralphie was your biggest fan. He called in. He was in love with you. Yes.
Well, you know what happened. AJ got that ass kick. He can't say yes no more.
That's all I'm saying, man.
It's hard to like, you know, come out that hole when your champ got served, you know. But it was a great fight, and no one should be ashamed of AJ. Like, that was a valiant effort. He got off the ground. He tried, and, you know, some people even believe that the fight shouldn't have been stopped. So I don't know why it's got to be this, like, you know, us against them thing. Even though I know I'm involved in that at times, but, you know. And
Lighten, man. Lighten Evelyn. If we so biased, man, call in and just set us straight, bro. Ain't no disrespect going on, gonna happen to you today. Just don't come out with no bullshit, because we like,
biased, but you're here listening. That don't make any sense. What you doing here?
I mean, sometimes you can't always be in a echo chamber. You want to be in a place where you don't necessarily agree with everything everybody's saying, so you can have a better perspective on your position. Because if you're constantly talking to people you always agree with, that shit will get gray. You know what I'm saying? Be like, do I really agree with this motherfucker, or am I just going along?
Sophie Dan never called in asking where the U.S. callers go. Get your ass out of there and get a voice.
But yeah, man, that's it for me, man. My final thoughts is Can't wait to see what happens in December on this AJ Ruiz pay-per-view since it's going to be over in that time zone. I got a text that it's coming on like around 9 o'clock.
Yo, Chris English with the chat of the day. Fight was fixed to increase AJ's name in the U.S. Yo, that would be an evil backwards plan, because let me tell you, it did work. It did. Like you yourself has said, AJ probably got more fame from the loss than he would from the win of beating Andy Ruiz. So that's crazy. That was pretty funny for today's comment of the day.
Tell the truth.
Let's go out to sponsors.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Going out to Seattle, Washington. Talk to me.
Mr. PPC, baby.
Boxingvoice.com.
I'm the flyest. Canelo talking about he believe he can win. Go to my kitchen. Get the sharpest knife and cut the bullshit up.
60 seconds.
I do every fucking thing great.
Mr. PPC, baby.
Yo, what up?
Hey,
what up?
yo. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mike.
Man, you
Good
sound
morning,
like you got
Dad.
motherfucking energy, nigga. Like, you got a lot of energy this morning.
Man, I just drank some coffee, so you know how it is. Ness, I got a quick question. So I know how ESPN Plus was with Daniel Cormier and stuff like that, and I know that's not really boxing, but you said Canelo and Kovalev was going to be pay-per-view, but the zone. So I'm just curious, are they going to charge an extra price for that, or you still get to watch that?
He was talking about UK pay-per-view, so it won't affect you over here in America.
10 seconds.
Oh, okay. And let's talk about Danny Garcia versus Spence, and I really think that'll be a good fight. But it might be a bad fight because Danny Garcia versus Porter, when he really didn't let his hands go. And I've noticed that he always loads up and then forgets and then loads up again.
I know.
I think that's
the name is Mr. PBC and all that shit, but does Anthony Joshua do a better pay-per-view next time, or does it flop again like he did last time with Ruiz?
I was the first one to say that I felt like it was a setup, and it might have been, if I get a loss, I'm famous more. But I do think that it will be bigger because now we're going to see if he's going to lose or win, and everybody wants to see it. Someone that big lose or win. I think it'll be way bigger. It'll probably be bigger than any heavyweight's probably ever been done. Because this is something in Saudi Arabia that's never been done during a time that shouldn't be done.
Cut it.
Going out to Detroit. Good morning.
Straight to the point for those with attention deficit. I'm so repetitive, so I gotta repeat. Stainless from the streets to the deep. I'm coming with that heat. All you need to know about me, I'm coming with that heat.
Good morning to you, Stainless man. What's going on to you, big dog? How you living? He left. He left, Ness. He left.
All right. Well, he's calling back in now. There he goes.
Okay.
Stainless,
what up, man?
Stainless.
He definitely can't hear you.
Yeah, well, he muted. I guess he's just listening or traveling to work. We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up.
No, I'm still here, man.
Okay.
I don't know what was going on. Skype was still ringing. I don't even know what it's about, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just at work. Just want to say thanks for the podcast, man. It's making my day go by faster. That's all I got, man. As I always say, please make sure you push the thumbs up. Share this in every episode of the Boxing Voice podcast because it's TBV for life.
I'm sorry.
If you ain't on Patreon, it's because you're stupid.
You guys,
and I got one more thing, man.
Hey, hold on.
To Mr. PBC, man, thank you for staying dedicated to whooping that snitch H Money ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to join LDBC just so I can get into that pick of whooping this motherfucker ass, because I heard that little snitch ass comment he was on here making, clogging up the phone lines and shit like that. But that's all I got, man. Peace.
It's crazy how much people just don't have a fucking, in my opinion, anything good to do. KO, man, you gotta meet yourself, bro. We'll come to you in a second. Let me get you right quick. All right, here we go. Yeah, man, just people just have enough time for like bullshit. I don't respect it.
Yeah, man. Speaking of time, we are looking to come right back in a couple of minutes to discuss Manny Pacquiao and Mikey Garcia. There is a recent interview by Robert Garcia where he's indicating that Mikey is not fighting Pacquiao this year, regardless of any rumors. We'll give you the details. We'll give you their plan for Mikey Garcia on our next morning show. Catch us right here at youtube.com/The Boxing Voice. And remember, same call-in number, just like Batman. Same call-in, same time, 14255695241. Peace.
Whoa. We got KO. KO, go ahead, B-Dog.
Oh, shit, that's right. Sorry, KO. My bad.
Yo, what's going on, people?
KOD. My bad, man.
Yeah, KOD, right? That's because he let us call him KO for a year.
Well, listen, man. People call me K. Yeah, it's probably just easier. Anyways, yeah, on this pay-per-view thing, I think that how many pay-per-views did Joshua do? I don't actually know the numbers.
562,000.
Okay, I mean, obviously because of the time, pay-per-views like in the UK, like if it's not in the evening, then it's going to be difficult. But I think those numbers are actually good for Joshua for the time it was. But it is, I think maybe what you guys don't realize is in the UK, Joshua is actually, when he lost, that actually affected a lot of things. It definitely affected pay-per-view numbers. And I think that's why people need to actually give a lot of credit to AJ. He actually built boxing, AJ and Eddie. They kind of rebuilt boxing. Because prior to AJ, people weren't really interested in boxing. And when he lost, people like Dillian White and all the other guys, the pay-per-view numbers were definitely affected. So if AJ wins, I think, and people get an interest back in him, he will definitely resurrect the pay-per-view numbers. But I think that AJ's win and, his loss definitely is a big factor on pay-per-view numbers in the UK currently. I don't know about America, but I think generally definitely here in the UK, his success is definitely impacted boxing.
Cut it. Going out to CYP LA. Good morning.
Going on with
If you don't want to fight, you should watch what you type. Listen, man, I'm here to cook y'all motherfuckers. Not the panel, but the fuckers in the chat. You bitches watched every single Floyd fight talking about, oh, they didn't break even. Oh, they're losing money. You watch Wilder's fight. Oh, Showtime said they barely broke even. But as soon as it happens to AJ, you bitches make up excuses. It was 4 a.m. It was a last-minute replacement. Bullshit. When that nigga Wilder had all his fights against all his replacements, y'all still use those views to say he wasn't a fucking star. When he signed on to Sky and had $20 million per fight, they knew he would be fighting at 4 a.m. They knew when his fights would be. So it's not like, oh my God, what a surprise. Get over that bullshit. I'm your fucking doctor. Bend your ass over so I can stick you with this dose of reality. Because all y'all motherfuckers do is hate, and it always comes back, and y'all always make me famous, and I love y'all for that shit. And remember, if you don't want to fight, watch what the fuck you type. CYP, you know how I do it.
He must have had a good weekend. I don't agree with all he said. I don't think it was a failure. I think 562,000 buys is still good. I mean, at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's still good.
It's amazing numbers. But failure is the wrong word. Decline is the correct word.
Absolutely.
Decline. It's definitely a decline. We got Davidian. Talk to me.
What up, Davidian?
Oh, shit, he hung up. Raphael hung up, too. All right, so that's everybody. We had Raphael. Let me give him a second. No, that's it. We had Raphael and Davidian, and they both dropped off. I don't know if that was in Blog Talk issue. Anybody else left on Skype? Nope, that's everybody. All right, catch us on the next one right here, youtube.com/The Boxing Voice for some Manny Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia talk. Peace.
Gross1911 on IG and Gross2312 on Twitter. Peace out. Catch y'all in about 5-10 minutes.